Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking about the Russian Progress spacecraft. Please remember to like and subscribe. Great, let's get right into it. Fact 1. Uses Soyuz rockets. The Progress spacecraft was derived from the Soyuz spacecraft to mainly haul cargo to the International Space Station, specifically to the Russian part of it. And the Soyuz spacecraft uses the Soyuz rocket system. They have the same name. And as a result, the Progress spacecraft uses the same thing. It uses the Soyuz family of rockets to propel itself into space and to dock with the International Space Station. I think it's pretty clever to reuse things so that you don't have to go back to the drawing board and come up with things from scratch. By leveraging the existing technology of the Soyuz rockets, the Progress spacecraft could be developed at a lower cost and could be operated at a lower cost as well, leveraging the existing infrastructure and existing Soyuz rocket production to launch it into space. Let's get into the next fact. Fact 2. Unmanned. As I mentioned, the Progress spacecraft was derived from the Soyuz, and the Soyuz was really meant to carry humans into space. When the Russians realized that they needed to constantly ferry cargo to the International Space Station, and having a manned spacecraft takes up a lot of valuable cargo space, they decided to create an unmanned version of the Soyuz, which is now the Progress spacecraft. The Progress spacecraft is unmanned and solely for transporting cargo. This allows the spacecraft to only transport cargo and therefore eliminate a lot of life support systems such as oxygen and pressurization, and could just accommodate as much cargo as possible autonomously and have a remote control station, remote command center to control the docking and separation of the spacecraft from the Soyuz rockets. This allowed a drone-like operation to the space station that saves cargo space and as well as not risking any lives to transport cargo constantly to the space station. Alright, let's get to the next fact. Used as additional space. When the Progress aircraft docks to the International Space Station, they don't unload the cargo and immediately undock it and let it fall back down to Earth. Actually, they're very ingenious on leveraging this expensive trip up to the space station, and they actually leave it docked for up to 6 months. What happens in a typical mission is that when the Progress spacecraft docks with the space station, the cosmonauts or astronauts first unload all the cargo necessary. And as a result, the Progress spacecraft now has a huge open space for the cosmonauts and astronauts to actually dump their waste and other non-important things that they need to get rid of on the space station. They basically treat the Progress spacecraft like a garbage truck. So the Progress spacecraft will remain docked with the space station while the astronauts and cosmonauts continue to unload unnecessary waste or useless items into the cargo hold of the Progress spacecraft. Eventually, when the Progress spacecraft service life is up, they simply undock it and let it fall back to Earth and let it burn up in the atmosphere, along with all the waste that they've put into the cargo hold. This is a very smart move on the Russians because it really uses that expensive trip up to space 2 times. Alright, let's get into the next fact. Fact 4. One-time use. The Progress spacecraft is designed to be one-time disposable spacecraft. It is not like the Soyuz, where they ferry people to and from the station and needs to be reusable. The Progress spacecraft was designed to burn up in the atmosphere once it's finished its mission, and therefore all the Progress spacecraft that has been ever launched were all disposed of through the atmosphere by burning it up and potentially landing the final debris into remote locations of the Earth, generally the South Pacific. While it might seem wasteful to construct a spacecraft, have it go up once, only to have it burned up in the atmosphere, if you think about it, it's actually intended and has a good reason. First of all, as I mentioned in the previous section, the Progress spacecraft is used more like a garbage truck on its return trip. Its empty cargo hold allows the cosmonauts and astronauts to place waste into it and then dispose of it in the atmosphere. Secondly, if you were to have the Progress spacecraft return to Earth in a reusable format, it probably needs more systems and more components on the outer systems, such as heat shields, so that it won't burn up as it enters the atmosphere. This will add so much additional weight to the spacecraft that it will reduce the amount of cargo it can hold on the trip up to space. And that's really the most important objective for the Progress spacecraft. It is to haul cargo up to space. And so, to minimize non-necessary weight and to maximize cargo space and cargo weight, it should be designed to burn up in space on the re-entry. Alright, let's get to the next and final fact. Over 175 flights. The Progress spacecraft is a proven workhorse for the Russian Space Agency. It has conducted over 175 flights into space to supply cargo to the space station. It is very proven, reliable, and a lifeline to the International Space Station because, as you can imagine, the space station cannot manufacture or create any sort of resources or machinery, and all relies on humans on Earth to supply them. So you can see the Progress spacecraft is a very important spacecraft that has been reliable and necessary to keep the space station flowing and orbiting around the Earth, conducting scientific research and other types of scientific experiments to help mankind on Earth. The rockets used to bring up Progress is also highly proven and reliable, and so this program is a very successful way to continue the life expectancy of the International Space Station. That's it for my video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.